Days after Biden authorized Ukraine to use US-made weapons to attack Russia, Putin issued a stern warning, threatening to provide other nations with long-range missiles to strike Ukraine's Western allies.
We're thinking that if they consider it possible to deliver such weapons to the combat zone, to launch strikes on our territory, and create problems for us, why don't we have the right to supply weapons of the same type to some regions of the world where they can be used to launch strikes on sensitive facilities of the countries that do it to Russia? The answer may be asymmetric.
Putin's warning has been perceived as a real threat by Western leaders, including the US president. In an exclusive ABC interview, Biden backtracked on his commitment to helping Ukraine by limiting the use of US-made weapons. Biden stated that US weapons are not authorized to be used to target Russia's capital city or seat of government. He said, "They're authorized to be used in proximity to the border when they're being used on the other side of the border to attack specific targets in Ukraine. We're not authorizing strikes 200 miles into Russia, and we're not authorizing strikes on Moscow, on the Kremlin." Is the US playing it safe by avoiding direct engagement with Russia after repeated threats from Putin? Biden maintained that the US will support Ukraine in defending the volatile border areas, but will not allow direct strikes into the Russian capital. He said, "We're not talking about giving them weapons to strike Moscow, to strike the Kremlin, to strike against, just across the border, where they're receiving significant fire from conventional weapons used by the Russians to go into Ukraine to kill Ukrainians." When questioned about the threat posed by Russia, Biden described Putin as not a decent man and characterized him as a dictator. "I've known him for over 40 years. He's concerned me for 40 years. He's not a decent man," Biden said. "He's a dictator, and he's struggling to make sure he holds his country together while still keeping this assault going." The US will send approximately $225 million in military aid to Ukraine, US officials announced Thursday. The aid includes munitions for the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, HIMARS, mortar systems, and various artillery rounds. Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, is just 20 kilometers from the Russian border and has faced intensified Russian attacks. Last month, the State Department approved an emergency sale of HIMARS systems to Ukraine, funded by Germany. However, US policy still restricts Ukraine from using American-provided long-range missiles for offensive strikes inside Russia. Despite frequently adding new aid to the list, US delivery to Ukraine is slower than required. Ukrainian President Zelensky has reiterated the need for faster delivery of all pending aid. Is it a genuine delay or just a pretense of help to avoid direct war involvement? The answer remains unclear.